I'm estranged from both of my old religions, whatever. But I loved the experience of growing up in them, the experience of being there in them. And so the idea of my children having the experience that I had in the LDS church just is still a sweet idea to me. There's a tendency for me.
It's honestly a bit hilarious. Kody, who loves to parade around with his "I'm so great" routine, has teeth that are, let's just say, not exactly a gleaming beacon of vanity. They're practically yellow, but hey, maybe that's his charm. Also, I'm so overhearing him mention that 1,000-yard stare like he's some war hero. Newsflash. Dude's been in a plural marriage, not the trenches. He acts like he's been through some intense, PTSD-inducing battle, when in reality, the worst thing he's had to deal with is keeping track of all his wives' names and pretending to care about their feelings. It's laughable. Kody's out here acting like "Gimme Shelter" should be playing whenever he thinks of his marriages, except, of course, Robyn's. In his mind, it's a constant loop of Nam-style flashbacks, but instead of helicopters, it's the sound of FLDS hymns. Really painting that tragic picture. And seriously, I don't get why he keeps repeating this whole victim narrative. He seems to think it makes him look like he's been through hell. Spoiler alert, it doesn't. It makes him look like a predator. He married a woman he clearly didn't care about, and, based on his recent revelations, he was actually repulsed by her. Here's the kicker. Did he forget that he had a spiritual and moral obligation to think things through before entering into a time and all eternity covenant with someone? Apparently not. But no, let's pretend he's the poor, tormented soul in all of this. I am beyond over this guy acting like the victim when he's clearly the one causing all the damage. Also, as a former smoker myself, I'm just going to throw this out there. He's probably still getting his nicotine fix somehow. We've got so much to dive into today, so let's not waste any time. Let's jump straight into it. Hey everyone, what's up? It's Elena here, and welcome back to my channel Reality Nexus X. Did I hear that right? Kody actually said he doesn't have room for Truly. I was watching Gwen's latest video, and there was this clip of Kody talking about Truly visiting, where he dramatically lamented that there's just no space for her. Of course, he's probably just putting the blame on Christine for moving away, because why not? It's all her fault, right? But really, why can't Truly share a room with one of Robyn's daughters when she's visiting? Heck, just roll out a mat on the floor if there's not enough space. It's not like they're short on square footage or anything. And then there's this gem from Janelle, talking about how they've created this cohesive group of kids, only for Kody to jump in and make it clear that he doesn't exactly agree. He went on to say, "Me, Robyn, and my kids are the ones who are connected." Hilariously, it's crystal clear now that he doesn't see his kids with Christine or Janelle as his real kids. I mean, it was practically screaming from the rooftops when he told Isabel she couldn't be there for her surgery, because he couldn't possibly be away from Robyn. Gwen pointed out in her reaction video that Isabel is family, but sure, whatever. Christine, Kody never sees our kids. It's been months, and he refuses to visit. I'm moving. Christine, so yeah, I was planning on taking Truly with me when I move. Kody, no, you can't do that. We share custody. No. Christine, yeah, no, that's fine. I actually want you to see her. Kody, well, I can't do that because there's no room in my house. It's your fault you moved. Classic move from the narcissist playbook. You can practically see the playbook opening at this point. What's really disturbing, though, is Kody's claim that he has no room for any of the kids. What happened to making room? It's a huge house for crying out loud. And let's not forget, Christine, Janelle, and Meri were all on board when they helped buy a house for Robyn. They were so generous, making sure there was enough space for the big family gatherings, you know, when they weren't excluded from those gatherings, apparently. And now that Robyn's kids are well settled in the house, Kody is whining about not having enough room for Truly. Give me a break. Meanwhile, Janelle and Savannah had no problem making room for Truly in a fifth wheel. But in that giant house Kody's benefiting from, Truly just doesn't fit. It's baffling. Let's face it, Robyn and her kids are Kody's only family now. Everyone else, he's basically a sperm donor at best. Sure, he may have been a dad to the other kids when they were little, but as soon as Robyn came into the picture, they were practically abandoned. The 4 Leaves of Kody Brown. What a gem! After rewatching it, I've come to realize just how much this episode perfectly encapsulates the sublime chaos of Kody's relationships. You know, the one where Kody's living it up in his Vegas rentals, shuttling back and forth between homes like some sort of polygamist Uber driver. This time, he spends a day/night with each wife, and it's just a masterpiece of prioritizing, or not. First stop, Christine. It's family dinner night at a Mexican restaurant, which in Kody's world clearly means that it's Christine's turn. Spoiler alert, the next one will also land on Christine. Oh, but the restaurant's Monday night kids eat free special definitely had something to do with that choice. Sure, Kody, totally about family time. I don't know what's more cringeworthy, them marching in with their full squad of children on kids eat free night, or the sheer audacity of the probably underpaid restaurant staff watching it all unfold. Because, let's be honest, there's no way Kody and Christine were tipping like the bill should have been. Just saying. Next up, Robyn's house. Oh boy. The editors give us not one, but multiple slow-motion shots of little girls bouncing on a trampoline. Was this a choice? Or some twisted homage to summer afternoons? Because it's certainly something. And speaking of choices, Kody spends the entire day with only Robyn and her kids. How convenient. I'm sure this wasn't strategically planned. Then it's Meri's turn. Right away, Kody's on his best "I'm so busy" routine. He's late for a meeting with a lawyer. Sure, buddy, sure. Could it be that he's just trying to escape after spending the morning with Robyn? Oh, and here's a fun detail. Kody shows up at Meri's place first thing in the morning, looking like he rolled out of bed, gave Truly a pat on the head, and bolted. No morning cuddles for Christine. Just saying. And then, after a super urgent mission to find a new outfit for himself, such an emergency, Kody jets off to yet another family meeting. Oh, and let's not forget that he's draining his retirement savings for all this real estate fun. You can practically hear the desperation in the background. So far, the only one who seems to get any uninterrupted Kody time is Robyn. Shocker. Now we come to Janelle. Janelle, the real trooper. Kody spends all day with her and her kids, probably because she's the easiest one to be around. I mean, she's chill. And the next morning, she asks Kody to mount her TV, which, shocker, he doesn't have the right tools for. But don't worry, he won't just hit up a hardware store like a normal person. No, he's going to check all 3 houses for the right tools, because that's definitely the most efficient way to go about it. Let's be honest, if Robyn was next in the rotation, Janelle's TV would still be lying flat. And here's where it gets real juicy. Christine. Kody's back at her place, but wait, what's on the agenda for her and her kids who haven't seen him in days? Oh, just a casual family dinner at Robyn's house for Robyn's gender reveal. Of course, this could have waited one more night to not mess with Christine's time, but why would Kody ever do that? It's just a little telling, don't you think? This episode is like the gift that keeps on giving. Christine's frustration is palpable, and it's the first time she openly admits that Kody's priorities are completely skewed towards Robyn and her kids. It's almost like everything Christine said about Kody's behavior during the Flagstaff years was right there in front of our faces. On a rewatch, I was like Leonardo DiCaprio pointing at the screen. There it is. It's clear as day. Robyn is the golden child, with Janelle hanging out in second place, and Christine just gets the scraps. Honestly, I'm just so glad Christine got out of that mess. She's living her best life now, and honestly, she deserves it. Kody and his audacity with Christine. After watching this episode, I just had to get all this off my chest in one place. Kody seriously had the nerve to tell Christine that they can't have an intimate relationship, then act shocked when she doesn't want to sleep in the same room as him. Like, is he really that out of touch? Imagine being forced to lie next to someone who has zero interest in you, and you've made it clear you're not interested in them either. That's a whole different level of emotional cruelty. It would tear you down, make you feel worthless. And meanwhile, Kody's perfectly fine because he's getting intimacy from other wives, leaving Christine to suffer alone. Nice, right? His idea that it's totally acceptable to deny intimacy in a marriage is mind-blowing. He has his backup plans, after all. But somehow, he doesn't realize the hypocrisy in that. He gets all the intimacy he wants from other women, but Christine is supposed to just be fine with the scraps he tosses her. He couldn't be bothered to see how messed up that is for the wives. And then the betrayal of Christine. Please. Kody claims she betrayed him by telling people she wanted to leave. Two problems here. First, Kody's had no problem broadcasting to the whole world that he doesn't find Christine attractive on TV and in their book. How is that not a betrayal? Second, what was she supposed to do? She's been telling him for years what she needed, and he just didn't care. He wasn't making any effort with her, but sure seemed to be going out of his way for the other wives. Now he's acting like her telling people was the reason he stopped being intimate with her, but newsflash, that was happening long before she ever spoke out. What he really wants is for Christine to just keep quiet, keep playing the supportive wife, and settle for heavenly rewards, while he tosses her crumbs when it suits him. Then there's Kody's genius suggestion that Christine should improve her relationship with the other wives, especially Robyn, as if that's going to fix things. This is the same guy who's shown no real interest in fixing his relationship with her for years. He just wants to keep the manipulation going, using his intimacy as a tool to make the other wives happy, because, that's totally healthy. His idea of managing multiple relationships with mutual respect is clearly non-existent. If there's a problem between the wives, it needs to be worked out in a healthy way, not manipulated like some twisted strategy. Now the kicker, Christine was released from a loveless marriage. Kody claims he doesn't understand why, but honestly, how could he not? Christine gave him years of love, and he never appreciated it. Even now, when she's finally leaving, she's clearly heartbroken, still loving him even though he's absolutely unworthy of it. He's the one who lacked respect and love for her. Even when she was at her most submissive, he found reasons to be annoyed with her, despite her being warm, loving, and kind. And when it comes to divorce, all Kody can think about is his stuff, his house, his karma, how it impacts him. Christine, on the other hand, is focused on how it will affect their kids and how she can manage the emotional fallout without hurting them. Talk about a total lack of self-awareness on his part. Honestly, the way he treats the woman who was the primary caregiver for almost all of his children for years is revolting. No one deserves to be treated like that, and Kody's complete failure to recognize Christine's contributions and sacrifices is just disgusting. I'm so glad she's free of him. May he get the miserable life he so clearly deserves. Kody's whole me attitude is on full display here. It's so obvious how little he cares about Christine's pain. He just wants to make this about himself. And I couldn't help but feel so angry for Christine. This was obviously not a decision she made lightly, but he's acting like he doesn't even care. Maybe it's because my ex was the same way, or because I know others dealing with someone like Kody, but honestly, I wanted to punch his face through the TV screen tonight. He takes zero responsibility for his actions. His response? I don't know why. He accuses Christine of playing games and acts like she's being dramatic or unreasonable. Hey, Kody, maybe you should look in the mirror and realize that you've been emotionally manipulating your wives for years. You've dangled affection in front of Meri and Christine like a carrot, which is straight up emotional abuse. But yeah, you don't know why she packed your stuff, right? I'm beyond happy that Christine left him, and I truly hope she has zero regrets and gets to live her best life. Because Kody? He's only upset because she took control and made a decision. Good for her. Sister Wives star Meri Brown, given release from church to divorce Kody Brown, says it's heartbreaking. So, Meri casually texted Kody one day, "Hey, I went ahead and started the process. If you want to say anything or be involved in any way, let me know in the next 2 weeks." Spoiler alert, he didn't respond. Typical. Meri then took a trip to Utah to meet with her church leaders, where she was granted a release, which, for those not in the know, is basically church speak for divorce. It was, as she puts it, a very, very hard conversation, and by hard, she means heartbreaking. She clearly didn't set out for this. It wasn't her plan when she married Kody. Back in 2014, Meri and Kody did a legal divorce, purely so he could legally marry Robyn and adopt her kids. But their spiritual marriage, the whole eternity thing, was supposed to stay intact. Fast forward to now, and with that spiritual bond officially severed, it's over. No more eternal commitment. And the icing on the cake? Kody, the guy who was supposed to be her partner for life, couldn't even spare a text to show some basic human decency. 3 decades together, and not even a "hey sorry, this sucks, but good luck with everything." Nope. Instead, he didn't even bother to go with her to Utah to deal with the whole thing. Clearly, facing that accountability was too much to ask. Classic Kody move. Now look, I'm not saying I'm Team Meri, but I do have to give her some credit for sticking it out this long. She remained faithful to her beliefs, her commitment, and the relationship, even when the guy she was married to couldn't bother to show up. That's some serious dedication, or maybe just really stubborn faith. Either way, it's something. Honestly though, I'm still kind of shocked she still believes in all of this enough to see it through. Kody Brown. What a fascinating journey from genuinely loving family man to rage-filled shell of a dude we've witnessed, right? If you watch those earlier seasons, it's like watching a completely different person. He's so in love with his wives, patient, kind, and actually listens. Like, really listens. He's speaking in soft tones, all about love and harmony. It's like he's auditioning for the Best Husband Ever award. Then, boom, Season 8 hits. Something has gone terribly wrong. And no, it's not just the fact that his hair is thinning faster than his patience. This man, let's be real, is a completely different species now. There's this strange rage bubbling up, especially when Christine dares to be offended. The episode leading up to that Wyoming trip, he practically loses his mind. His face, his voice, his whole demeanor, it's like someone hit the reset button. And this guy came out of the machine, furious and unrecognizable. Honestly, I'm with your wife on this one. My theory is, what we saw in those early years was probably just a carefully constructed act for the cameras. The first few seasons were probably him playing the part of Mr. Perfect polygamist. He wasn't all bad back then, but let's face it, it was probably a glorified version of himself. That nice, loving guy, maybe not the whole truth. And let's be clear, Season 8, that's when the mask starts slipping. You're spot on, that's when it really becomes evident. He's always had some underlying issues, selfishness, lack of empathy, that charming me first attitude. But before, he was coasting on his polygamous lifestyle. He had everyone boosting his ego, making him feel like a king. Then came the epic fails, one after another. First, Truly almost died because of his neglect, and he did nothing about it. Then there's the whole "hey, I need $2.5 million to fund my business, please" fiasco, and crickets. No one's buying what he's selling, and his precious little venture collapses. Then the final blow, Meri and her catfish drama, which totally emasculated him. Imagine having your ego shattered like that. Ouch! Suddenly, he can't be the hero anymore. So instead of continuing to wear the nice guy mask, he just starts lashing out. He's bitter, he's angry, and the guy can't seem to control his temper. Sure, maybe he hopped on the steroid train at some point, but let's be real, that's not the turning point. He wasn't just becoming a tough guy. He was a man trying to hold his fragile sense of self together in the face of his own insecurities. Kody's change isn't about the steroids or his thinning hairline. It's about the fact that the man was never really whole to begin with. The early seasons showed us Kody playing the part of a man who was all about polygamy, but the later seasons reveal a much darker truth. Kody's emotional house of cards collapsed because his commitment to one wife, Robyn, was completely incompatible with the identity he had built around being a polygamist. That dissonance, the whole "who am I really?" thing, just drove him mad. And honestly, the steroids were probably just a last-ditch effort to feel like the man he thought he needed to be. But at the core, it's all about him wrestling with that deep, unresolved feeling of inadequacy. You can throw all the testosterone at the situation you want, but until Kody figures out who he actually is, it's just going to keep crumbling. Let me know what you think in the comments. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you in the next video. Take care and much love to you all.